Hello, this is week 14, and this week is all about social emotional development in the primary years. When children feel confident and competent about their school performance, that is a huge factor in their success in school. And Trawick, the author of our textbook, explains 5 different school related practices which may contribute to children's feelings of inferiority when it comes to school. First, being evaluative symbols, grades, comparisons. Well, who doesn't make public comparisons, unfortunately, such as hanging up all the 100% spellers or making sure that everyone gets stars for their 100%, hanging up the little notes for the top readers. There are always public comparisons. Ability grouping. It has its positives and its negatives, and I'll talk more about that in a moment. Whole group instruction. Whole group instruction is very difficult, and very little learning takes place in whole group. I did all my instruction for them in small groups. And formal relationships oftentimes contribute to children's feeling of inferiority. And Trawick does a good job of explaining all those in detail. When it comes to grades, schools have gone back and forth on whether or not to give A through F or whether or not to just give E's for excellence and S for satisfactory and N for needs to improve and U for satisfactory. But here's the deal. Even my first graders knew what an N stood for and what an S stood for, and so they just correlated those with grades. It didn't matter that the school was trying to hide grades from them. They knew what those letters stood for. So what can I say? And then there's the issue of ability grouping. When I graduated from school back in the dark ages, they said, well, you should not ability group. You should have highs, lows, and middles in every one of your reading groups. So I set out to do that. I went to a great deal of trouble. I had a low, a high, and 2 mediums in each reading group. I had 4 of them, 4 reading groups. And in every single reading group, I was unsuccessful because the highs were extremely bored and started misbehaving. The lows were embarrassed and hesitant to say anything because they really didn't know. A lot of them didn't even know the alphabet. And then the mediums were trying to do the best they could, working around the highs who are misbehaving and the lows who are misbehaving. So after about 2 weeks, I went to my mentor teacher and I just told her about my problem with my heterogeneous reading groups. And she just smiled and said, you need to level them out. All the highs in one group, all the lows in one group, and the mediums in another group. Because that way you can challenge the high students, you can work individually with low students and help build them up and move them forward, and the mediums will be right on track. Everyone will be getting what they need when they need it. And that worked for me. And she had 28 years of instruction at that point. So I assumed she knew what she was talking about. And it really did work. But it's up to you. Everyone has to make their own decisions. If you have any questions about any of this, please let me know. I'll be happy to visit with you on Zoom. Have a great day. Bye bye.